How's it going, guys? So last night I just saw the Backrooms movie, and this was a movie I was pretty excited for because in the month of May we had Obsession that came out earlier this month. That was directed by Curry Barker, and this movie's directed by Kane Parsons, who is another horror filmmaker, and he's from YouTube, and he was the one who actually came up with the concept of the Backrooms and everything like that. But the fact that we have two horror movies directed by YouTubers that are going to be doing financially fantastic is so cool to come out in the month of May. And as for the Backrooms, I really don't know anything about the lore or anything behind the Backrooms. I've seen a bit of some things on TikTok, you know, of the guys in hazmat suit running around, but that's pretty much it. I came into this movie pretty fresh, pretty new. So, did I like it? Did I love it? Or was I disappointed? Well, let's find out by starting off with stuff I like. So as for things I liked about the Backrooms, I think this movie is really impressive visually. I think the way this movie immerses you is really great. The set design and the aesthetic and the vibe is really cool. I'd love to see some behind the scenes videos on how they made these sets and what was CGI and what wasn't, because it was really hard for me to tell. The way that they craft the Backrooms in here is just really interesting. It's really creepy, it's really eerie, and I thought that stuff was just really impressive. The idea of the Backrooms, I think, is also just a really creepy concept. For me, I get scared of the feeling of being lost. The feeling that you just don't know where you are. Whether that's in the woods or whether that's in a grocery store and you turn your head for 5 seconds and your mom left and now you're just stuck and you can't find her in any aisle ever. Backrooms kind of brings that to life. That fear of being lost. You don't know where you are. Everything looks the same. And that is really, I thought that was just really creepy. And just the design and the different rooms you go into in here and the way they're laid out, it's really creepy. And the way that they describe it in this movie with a line about a dog, I thought that was a really clever way to describe what the Backrooms is kind of like. Going back to the fact that this movie is a horror movie, I think it's really creepy. I thought this movie was really eerie. I thought it was really intense when it wanted to be. And I was on the edge of my seat throughout pretty much this whole movie. It does a great job of building intrigue, and I really enjoyed that because anytime a movie can kind of hook you in and you're just gripped from pretty much start to finish is really great. And that's what this movie kind of does. It's a very slow burn movie until the end where things get, really heighten. But the first half of this movie is just all slow burn, intrigue. What is this place? So we're just scratching the surface. What do we do here? Like that stuff, I thought that was really interesting about the movie. I think the direction here is really strong. The way he visualizes, again, the Backrooms, I thought was really great. The way he directs his actors, I thought the acting was pretty good from both our leads, so there was no complaints there. And I thought the sequences that he put in here are really great and really intense. Like I said, I don't know much about the Backrooms, but I remember scrolling on TikTok and I'd watch a few videos where I would see some things about the Backrooms, and it would be like a guy in a hazmat suit who's got it's POV and he's running around and he doesn't know where to go and something's chasing him. And that's kind of the intense sequences you get in here, but even in watching on those TikTok screens, I would get kind of the anxiety-inducing feeling that the director would want you to get. And watching the movie in a big screen theater, you really feel the anxiety-inducing sequences in here. Like, I was on the edge of my seat. My heart rate was fast for some of these sequences, especially during these POV sequences where they did have a camera and the guy was running and he doesn't know where he is, and then you get to all these weird areas and stuff like that. And that was just really cool. The exploration of the Backrooms and the fact that, like, what is this place? That intrigue was just so good. And then the sequences were really good. Like, the Backrooms in and of themselves are scary enough to carry a movie, in my opinion, the concept. And this movie goes a bit further. There is an entity in there that is stalking around, but that's all I'll say about that. But the way that they don't reveal too much right away, everything is slowly revealed to you as the movie goes on. I thought that was really cool. And they use the Backrooms as an entity of themselves to really scare you and really try to build intrigue of what the hell is happening and what is going on. I also want to highlight that there is one creepy ass scene in the third act of this movie that'll probably be known as the dinner scene. There is some imagery, there is some ideas going on screen that I thought were really disturbing and really well set up and really creepy. And that scene, I was like, it was dead silent in the theater because everyone was just in shock of how weird that scene was and how creepy it was. Now I'm going to move on into the stuff I'm kind of mixed on about the movie. Now, this isn't really necessarily good or bad things. This is just one thing, actually, that I noticed, that I couldn't help but notice that I almost would have enjoyed this movie more if it was a TV show. This movie kind of has the same vibe for me a bit as Severance. Now, Severance is a TV show that is pretty popular on Apple TV Plus. I'm not saying that the Backrooms is literally the exact same as Severance. No, absolutely not. They're completely different things. But the way that the season 1 of Severance and the movie, the pacing I felt like was kind of similar, you know? It's like this really slow burn intrigue. Every episode in Severance revealed a bit more. Every time they go into the back rooms, it reveals a tiny bit more. What's going on here? What's the stakes? And I feel like a season of the Backrooms would be able to develop things a bit nicer, and you'd be able to explore this movie more, because I left this movie kind of wanting more from the Backrooms, and the season of television would get that. And I think you easily could, because I think there's a lot of lore that you could easily build out with the Backrooms. So I'm happy with the movie and everything like that, but I think that a season of television would be really cool to have. Not a really good or bad thing, just something I noticed. And moving on into the stuff I didn't like about the movie, I keep on touching about the fact that this movie is really good at building intrigue, but it's not so great at paying it off, unfortunately. I can't really get into specifics because that would be heavy spoiler territory, but the movie goes into the third act and it kind of starts to feel a bit more generic after this really creepy dinner scene that happens. Now, there's a great intense chase scene that takes place that I thought was really great, but aside from that, the answers that they give you, and they don't give you much, but the answers that they do give you of things that you were questioning along the way, I didn't find to be the most satisfying personally. I was like, oh, really? That's kind of a bit lame. And I kind of wanted you to go weirder with that angle. And then speaking of the characters in this movie, I mean, the movie doesn't really have character arcs or deep character depth or whatever, but it does try to flesh out our characters a little bit here. I have to say the main male character in this movie, I didn't really like him that much personally. Like from start to finish, I had a bit of intrigue at the start, but then as the movie kind of went on, I don't know, he just wasn't really a character I was attached to. Nothing wrong with the performance. I think the performance was great, but the character himself didn't really care for too much. And where it goes in the third act, yeah, I didn't really like him. The main therapist girl in here I thought was better than the guy. I was rooting for her more, but again, they didn't really give her too much to grip onto, and there wasn't really much that I saw in her that I found was super interesting or that I cared about her a lot. So when we go into the third act, it's like I kind of like her, but like I would be lying if I cared a lot if she happened to not make it out. So that was just a bit of a disappointment. I wish the movie had fleshed out the characters a little bit more, maybe that made them a bit more likable or whatnot. And the way that they tie the characters into the back rooms, I won't say anything more than that, it wasn't really satisfying for me personally. I also just want to touch on, when I said that I liked the look of the Backrooms and everything like that, that still stands. Like the look of this movie is really, really cool, but I couldn't help but get a bit bored in some sequences when it was just these yellow rooms that were going across, and they keep using the same bag of tricks that there's like a chair stuck in the wall or something like that, because it's unfortunate, because there's a sequence in this movie where they go into like this Christmas room, and I thought that was one of the creepiest scenes in the movie. And then they go into the pool decks room or whatever, and I thought that was also creepy as well. And I'm like, I wish this movie explored more different styles of rooms in the back rooms rather than the same thing over and over, because yeah, eventually the style kind of gets boring and kind of gets played out a bit. And the movie is like a really slow burn, almost 2-hour movie, so that can get just a bit stale. And then as I alluded to, yeah, the third act reveals, and where this movie kind of goes in the last 5 minutes, I wasn't necessarily the happiest about, and I didn't leave the movie feeling necessarily super satisfied, unfortunately. But that is it for me with the Backrooms, guys. I would love a sequel to this movie. I want to explore more of this movie. I kind of left going like, I want more. So I hope we get a sequel. I think this movie's going to do great at the box office, so that shouldn't be a problem, and we'll probably get more of these. But as for this movie, guys, I did really enjoy it, so I'm going to give the Backrooms a 75%, and on the rewatchability scale, I'm going to say this is a good one-time watch. I don't really need to go back and rewatch this movie, but I would love to see more from this universe, so hopefully they make a sequel. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. Stay tuned for more reviews coming very soon. Hit that like and subscribe button, and comment down below. Did you guys enjoy the Backrooms? Have you seen it? Are you looking forward to it? Do you know the lore of what's going to come later down the road? Let me know. I'm curious to hear all that stuff. And yeah, hit the like and subscribe button. Stay tuned for more reviews very soon, and bye-bye.